All television and radio stations in the United States will now cease their regular programming.
As you can see on the ApocalypsePostNewsletter.com in the 2019 Part 3 newsletter, the first 7 verses of Ezekiel chapter 38 are obviously now underway with the preparation and the assembling of what will become the bear of Daniel chapter 7, headed by Russia and including Turkey, Libya, which no one's paying attention to right now because of Iran, which is called Persia in the first 7 verses of Ezekiel 38. But the ram in Daniel chapter 8 is not symbolic of modern-day Iran, but rather Ephraim and Manasseh, the British Commonwealth and the United States in the world wars, in which the shadow government of the Kenites, symbolized in Daniel chapter 8 by the he-goat, caused both Ephraim and Manasseh to be assimilated into the precursor of the New World Order in 1945, the United Nations, the great horn of the he-goat. And once the great horn is broken, so to speak, the New World Order will emerge to replace it when the 5-month-long hour of temptation begins at the woe of the 5th trumpet. That's when Ephraim and Manasseh, who are symbolized by the 2 horns of the ram of Daniel chapter 8, become the lion of Daniel chapter 7, along with Judah, who was the notable horn, not the great horn, but the notable horn on the he-goat. The shadow government of the Kenites used Germany in the world wars to bring about first the League of Nations and then the United Nations, which is the great horn of the he-goat. And notice in verse 4 of Daniel chapter 8, the ram pushing in all directions except eastward, which is where Judah was situated in the encampment of the tribes, as you can see on page 181 of the Companion Bible, letting you know Judah, which is Germany, is absent from the ram because this has to do with the world wars when it was Judah versus Ephraim and Manasseh both times, as you can also see prophesied of in the last verse of Isaiah chapter 9. So if Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, which is Russia of today, is told in Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 7 to be a guard unto all the company assembled unto them, including Iran of today, then how can the he-goat break the horns of the ram in Daniel chapter 8 verse 7? Notice there was none that could deliver the ram out of the hand of the he-goat, a ram being a male sheep, as in the Christian nations of Ephraim and Manasseh. And after the world wars, the United Nations came into being, which is the great horn of the he-goat. Once that's broken, so to speak, the 5 months begin, and the he-goat becomes the leopard of Daniel chapter 7, the ram becomes the lion of Daniel chapter 7, and the Ezekiel 38 confederacy, written of in Ezekiel 38 verses 1 through 7, including literal Persia, which is Iran of today, becomes the bear of Daniel chapter 7. Daniel's 4th beast is exclusively supernatural because it's made up of Satan and his angels, and it's not until they're cast from heaven to earth at the woe of the 5th trumpet that the one world political system emerges, having 7 heads, which are the 7 continents of the planet Earth, and 10 horns, 10 fallen angel kings. And after the deadly wound to the one world political system, Satan will appear in Jerusalem as the false Christ at the woe of the 6th trumpet, and that's when it becomes a one world religious system. The true Christ won't return at all until the woe of the 7th trumpet, and that's when the battle of Armageddon, as well as the battle of the valley of Hamon-Gog, written of in Ezekiel chapters 38 and 39, transpire. 2 separate battles in 2 different geographic locations at the same time when the true Christ returns at the 7th trumpet.